She was burning alive. That's all 17-year-old Lena Brooks could process as flames consumed her body in that abandoned Detroit warehouse. 10 bullet holes. Gasoline-soaked skin. The smell of her own flesh melting. And through the agony, one thought screamed louder than her dying screams. How did a rap battle turn into this? Just 4 hours earlier, she'd been on top of the world. A white girl from 7 Mile who just destroyed 3 of Detroit's most feared battle rappers. The crowd went wild. Her phone exploded with notifications. She was finally somebody. But now, lying in a pool of her own blood, surrounded by the twisted metal skeletons of the Fisher body plant ruins, Lena realized something that would haunt her forever, if she survived the next 60 seconds. The 3 men who did this? They weren't the real monsters. The real monster was someone she'd loved. Someone she trusted with every secret, every dream, every vulnerable moment of her life. Someone who'd planned this for years, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And that person? They were still out there. Watching. Waiting to finish what they started. This is the story of how talent became a death sentence. How friendship became the deadliest weapon. And how one girl's fight for survival would expose a conspiracy so twisted, so deeply personal, it would shake an entire city to its core. I'm about to take you through the most brutal 4 hours of Lena Brooks' life. And I promise you, nothing is what it seems. Every person you think you can trust? You can't. Every moment you think you understand? You don't. By the end of this story, you'll question everything you thought you knew about loyalty, revenge, and how far someone will go to destroy you. So let me ask you something before we begin. Have you ever trusted someone so completely that you'd never see their betrayal coming? Have you ever been so blinded by love that you walked straight into hell? Because that's exactly what Lena did. And what happened next will haunt you long after this story ends. Let's go back to where it all began. For hours before the burning. 4 hours before the bullets. For hours before Lena discovered that her best friend had been planning her murder since the day they met. Are you ready? Because there's no turning back now.
Welcome to True Crime Files HQ, where we uncover gripping true and fictional crime stories that keep you hooked and leave you with powerful life lessons. Thank you so much for stopping by. Your support means everything. If you love stories that shock, inspire, and make you think, then you're in the right place. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss a chilling new story from us. And remember, every story hides a truth. Stay curious, stay safe.
When the crowd shouted her name that night on Detroit's east side, nobody knew it would be the last time anyone saw her alive. She was Lena Brooks, a 17-year-old from 7 Mile, a neighborhood where music was both escape and survival. People in the underground scene called her White Fire. She had the kind of stage presence you can't teach, eyes closed, words like bullets, voice shaking the mic. That Friday, The Cave, a cramped warehouse turned rap battle hotspot off Gresham Avenue, was overflowing. Local names, guys who'd battled for years, took the stage before her. When Lena's turn came, the energy flipped. Her first verse? Her second? Personal. By the third, the crowd was roaring, phones up, live streams running. White Fire's for real. She's for real. Even her rivals were nodding, grudgingly impressed. When the DJ dropped the final beat and she finished her verse with, "You can't silence a flame born in cold," the crowd went wild. It should have been her best night. Instead, it became the beginning of a mystery. After the battle, Lena hung around the back lot with her best friend Kayla Reed and a few other MCs. Someone filmed her smiling, holding her tiny trophy, hoodie pulled over her braids. That clip would later circle the internet, not as celebration, but as evidence. By the next morning, Lena's phone was silent. Kayla texted. No reply. Her mom thought she'd stayed over with friends. But when Sunday came and Lena didn't show for studio practice, everyone felt it, that cold weight in their stomach. Police found her Honda Civic parked a block from the cave, doors locked, keys gone, purse still inside. Her social media stopped posting. No phone pings after midnight. Detroit's underground scene, usually loud and fearless, went quiet. What really happened to Lena Brooks that night? Was it jealousy? Revenge? Or something that had nothing to do with rap at all? Imagine it, 17, finally winning, finally being noticed, only for the spotlight to burn instead of shine. Would you still chase the stage if fame could cost you everything? Drop your theory in the comments. Was it someone at the battle or someone waiting after? Every mystery has a moment, a single clue that changes everything. For Lena Brooks, that clue was a message she never got the chance to send. 2 days after Lena's body was found, detectives went through her phone. Most of it looked normal. Texts about studio time, group chats about upcoming rap battles, a few memes with her best friend Kayla. But then they noticed something strange. A half-typed text in her Notes app. Time-stamped 10:42 p.m., about 20 minutes after she left the cave. I can't believe you do me like this. After everything. You know I trusted you. There was no name. No signature. Just those words, like the start of an unfinished confrontation. Who was she talking about? Kayla swore Lena hadn't mentioned a fight that night. But others at the cave remembered seeing Lena outside after the show, arguing quietly with a tall guy in a dark hoodie, someone from her own circle. Maybe it was about money, one performer told police. Or maybe about that record deal rumor, said another. Rumors spread fast in Detroit's underground. Some said Lena had been offered a spot at a label showcase, and that someone close to her didn't like it. Meanwhile, the police checked Lena's social media drafts. There it was again, a post she'd written but never published. Funny how love and loyalty disappear once success shows up. Her followers would never see it, but her friends did. One of them even liked it before it vanished, which meant someone had access to her account after she went missing. Who had her password? Only Kayla and Drew, her beat producer, the same 2 people who helped her rehearse for that last battle. And here's where things get strange. The night Lena disappeared, Drew posted a story on his own page, a video of him driving past the cave, time-stamped 11:05 p.m. But the reflection in his car window? It showed someone in the passenger seat, someone wearing a hoodie that looked exactly like Lena's. Coincidence? Or proof? You ever trusted someone so much you didn't notice the knife until it was already there? Lena did. She was only 17, still believing every smile meant loyalty. And yet, the city that celebrated her one night was mourning her the next. Viewers, think about this. If you were in Lena's shoes, chasing a dream in a world full of rivals, who would you truly trust? Sometimes, guilt doesn't confess with words. It shows up in the eyes of the person who swore they'd never lie to you. After Lena's funeral, Detroit's rap scene went silent. Posters from her last battle were still up on telephone poles, faces of strangers stopping to read them. People left candles by the walls of the cave. The city moved on, but her best friend, Kayla Reed, didn't. She started avoiding people, stopped posting. And when detectives asked to see her phone again, she froze, just for a second, but enough for them to notice. They found deleted messages. Ones she couldn't explain. The texts were from Lena. Half of them filled with excitement about her win. The other half filled with fear. Kayla, I think he's playing me. If anything happens tonight, don't trust Drew. That message was sent an hour before Lena disappeared. And yet, it was deleted from Kayla's phone the next day. When police asked why, she said she panicked. But the more she talked, the shakier her voice got. One detective later said, "You could see the war in her face, half wanting to protect someone, half wanting to finally tell the truth." What would you do if your best friend asked you to keep their secret, and it could cost you everything? Kayla finally broke one night. She told detectives about an argument at the cave, not between Lena and Drew, but between Drew and someone else. A man Lena had been secretly working with. a music promoter promising to get her on stage in New York. That night, Drew found out. He felt betrayed, used, left behind. Kayla said Lena left the building after the fight, promising to text when she got home. She never did. And Drew? He disappeared for 3 days before showing up again like nothing happened. But here's where the story twists again. When police traced the deleted files on Kayla's phone, they found something that changed the entire case. A voice note Lena had recorded that same night. Her voice, trembling. "Kayla, if you ever hear this, it means I was right about him." Then silence. Static. And the sound of someone knocking on a door. You know that chill you get when something finally makes sense, but you wish it didn't? That's what Kayla felt when the recording ended. She realized something the world didn't know yet. Lena's killer might not have been a stranger, or even a jealous rival. He was someone both of them trusted. Music doesn't lie. Sometimes, it's the only way a truth refuses to stay buried. The police lab called it Track 12. No title. No metadata. Just a rough demo Lena had saved to her cloud the night before she vanished. When detectives pressed play, they didn't just hear music. They heard a confession wrapped in rhythm. The beat started soft, a piano loop, then static, then her voice, low and steady. "I thought you were my rhythm, but you just wanted my sound." Every line cut deep, like she was talking straight to someone she loved but no longer trusted. Then halfway through the track, her tone changed, angry, almost trembling. "You said the world was ours. But you sold me for a spotlight that was never yours to take." The song ended abruptly, mid-sentence, like she'd been interrupted. Detectives replayed it again and again, but it wasn't the lyrics that made them pause. It was the faint sound at the end. A door creak. A voice whispering, "We need to talk." Then silence. At first, police thought it was just background noise. But when they filtered the audio, they heard something else. A phone notification chime. A sound that matched the one on Drew's phone, not Lena's. "You can't fake a sound like that," the text said. "It's a fingerprint." That's when Drew's name came back into focus. Meanwhile, Kayla, still shaken, decided to visit Lena's studio. It had been locked since her death. She unlocked the door, sat in the chair where Lena used to record, and pressed the space bar. The monitors came alive. On screen was a new folder. Hidden. Title, "If I Don't Make It." Inside were notes, some lyrics, some voice memos. In one, Lena whispered, "Kayla, if this ever gets out, you'll know who it was." It wasn't jealousy. It was betrayal. Kayla covered her mouth. Her hands were shaking, because she recognized the handwriting on the folder's label. It wasn't Lena's. It was Drew's. What if the person who promised to help you chase your dream was the same person who pulled you away from it forever? You can almost see it, the dim studio lights, the hum of old speakers, the echo of Lena's last song fading into nothing. And Kayla, sitting there in silence, realizing her best friend might have left her a clue or a warning. When police brought Drew in for questioning, he didn't deny knowing about the track. He smiled and said, "That song wasn't about me." So who was it really about? Who else had access to that studio? And why did Lena hide her lyrics like she knew what was coming? Every story has a last verse, and sometimes it's not sung by the person who wrote it. The Detroit winter came early that year. Snow pressed against the studio windows as detectives gathered around the small mixing console where Lena had recorded her final words. Across from them sat Drew, calm, tired and silent. "You said the song wasn't about you," a detective asked. "Then who?" He looked down at his hands. "You'll figure it out," he muttered. She made sure of that. A few hours later, Kayla returned to the studio with Lena's old notebook. Most of it was rhymes and half-written verses, except for one page folded and taped inside the back cover. It wasn't lyrics. It was a letter. "If you're reading this, it means the music told the truth before I could. He said I couldn't do it without him, but maybe I can leave a story that will outlive both of us. No names. Just the same handwriting that matched the lyric folder labeled "If I Don't Make It." Kayla read it aloud, her voice shaking, as if Lena could still hear her. And that's when Drew spoke up from the corner. "She wasn't talking about me," he said softly. "She was talking about herself." Everyone turned. She thought the label would break us apart. She didn't trust them. She was planning to leak her own track, expose how they'd been using her beats without credit. It hit Kayla like cold air. The betrayal wasn't between friends, it was between Lena and the industry she was fighting to enter. Drew hadn't hidden her words, he'd tried to protect them. But by the time he realized she was gone, it was too late to tell the world what really happened. You ever chase a dream so hard you forget how dangerous it can be? That's what this story became, not just a mystery, but a warning. Fame can turn friends into suspects and songs into evidence. Today, the track White Fire, final verse plays at local open mics across Detroit. Nobody knows exactly who finished mixing it. Some say it was Drew, others swear it was Kayla. All anyone knows is that when the beat drops and Lena's voice returns, it feels like she's still there, spitting truth into the dark. Don't cry for the fire, learn from the flame. The crowd always falls silent after that line. So what do you think really happened that night? Did Lena uncover something too big? Or did her own fear light the fuse that ended it all? Drop your theories below, and if you've been following Lena's story since chapter 1, hit subscribe, because every week we uncover another case where art, ambition, and betrayal collide in ways you'll never forget.